Hey, Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome to today's readings and your Moon Month energy update, which is incredibly late. It's several days, well, a couple of days at least, after the new moon, and I normally do this moon energy update several days before a new moon. I will just say a little bit about that. If you just want to check in with the readings and you're not interested in the energy stuff or my update, then just zap straight through. The timestamps are below. You can catch up with the readings straight away. Beautiful souls, welcome, welcome back. If you are returning, welcome if you're new. My January was very, very, very hectic and very busy with a lot of stumbling blocks, if I'm honest. I feel like the energy around us at the moment is really calling us to hold faith, hold trust, to keep going through things, to remember to be anchored, to be grounded, to breathe, to kind of actively work with the universe, with source, with spirit, which in a way, of course, is exactly what this year and a half, next 18 months of accelerated growth is all about. It's about learning to live in a way that we are connected with source, with spirit, and living in a way that we can be holding those higher vibrations, those connections to so much more and our entire interconnectedness, as well as sort of having one foot firmly anchored on the ground and being earthed and live in the 3D world in a practical way, but in a practical way that honours those higher values and that higher vibration. So I think we are seeing in the world globally and also in our own lives a lot of pushing and pulling, different polarities of energy. Within that space of difference, there is also huge, huge potential. So, beautiful souls, January was a hectic, busy month for many, with a lot of stuff being shown to us, some of it absolutely amazing and some of it quite challenging, and I read your comments. I can't reply to them all, but I do read them. So I know a lot of you have been going through some big, big stuff, and it has been a mixed bag. I read real celebrations. I also read some challenges that are coming through. So thank you for sharing. This is a space in the comments where you can actually do that. It's wonderful to hear what's happening with you all. And indeed, thank you for your love and support and for letting me know that the readings are reaching you and are helpful to you. So, keep us posted. Now, in this video today, I'm going to give you a rundown of the energy coming through February, because there are some pockets where the energy is actually rather steady and hopefully you can be productive. There are other times when it's really quite intense. So in the video today, as well as the readings, I'm going to give you a rundown of the moon phases, and I'm going to actually start that by giving you some key dates through the month, points of power, moments when the energy is really open and expansive. We really are sitting right now in a portal of energy. The nodes are crossing, changing signs. So, we're in a space of sort of like a karmic portal of energy that we can actually kind of really lean into. And that's what our readings are about today. We're really tuning into that energetic and asking about your karmic pathway right now. What is this portal of energy opening up for you? What do you need to see? What can Spirit share with you right here and right now to assist you on your journey? So let's get to it. I'm going to do the energy update first, and then the readings will follow. So beautiful souls, I will see you in just a moment. Let's have a look at some key dates first and some of the things that are actually going on that may have quite an impact. The first thing I want to kind of bring to your attention, or for us to be aware of, is Venus. Venus is conjunct the North Node right now, and this kind of energy is around for the first week of February. Now, Venus calls for balance, for harmony, for peace. And she is moving from Pisces into Aries. The North Node is moving from Aries into Pisces. And so at this sort of crossing point, they come together. So we've got this kind of amazing kind of karmic portal of energy being fueled by the love of Venus. Now, I think this is phenomenal, because Venus is really going to help us to hold that light. Venus is going to help us to keep a balanced perspective, to feel calm, even when circumstances might make us not feel very calm. Now, I want to add something to this. On on February the 23rd, Neptune will also conjunct the North Node. And although that's not till February the 23rd, it's not till the end of the month, the energy of Neptune is here already as well. So we kind of have a Venus Neptune North Node collaboration going on here. Now, Neptune can really put us in touch with our higher self, our spiritual self. But Neptune can also feel very confusing. We can meet people who pull the wool over our eyes. Stuff can be going on that can feel a little bit unstable. And there's quite an energy around Neptune of what I would call dissolution. You know, things kind of disintegrating, falling apart. If they do, it's because they're not meant to be anymore. They don't serve us anymore. Some circumstance that is no longer relevant is trying to leave. Hold that higher spiritual perspective, look through the lens of love, you know, and you're going to sort of navigate this much more easily than if you feel deeply emotionally challenged and sort of center yourself in challenge rather than possibility. That's not always easy. I honestly put my hands up to that one. I know. But nevertheless, that's kind of really, I think, part of this evolution for us as a collective humanity, you know, is to be able to navigate differently, to be able to navigate life to the point where we can work actively with the universal energy rather than sort of trying to force our way for things to be the way we want and then be terribly distressed when things don't work out. It's really, this whole evolutionary process is taking us into a very different space and time. And of course, our collective energy impacts on the collective energy around us, on the collective energy around our planet. So this holding peace, holding light is just something that we can each personally choose to do. If you think of holding light as a personal choice, even at times of challenge and difficulty, hold the light, hold the love, rather than holding the fear and, you know, the anticipation of things perhaps going wrong. Hold that space of possibility and that vision of possibility. Now we have on between February the 3rd and February the 4th. Now I should say these dates are GMT times, UTC times. I have put at the bottom of this page, I do have this PDF available, this particular page. I send it out to everybody on my email list, and I'm actually just going to see if I can get it set up on a web page so you can just download it, and it will have these key dates. It's just a page of these key dates for you. And at the bottom of the page, you'll see that there is a link for you to be able to click on a particular site, and you'll be able to work out the time and the date in your personal location. So that's kind of quite a helpful thing to do if you're not sort of based. Obviously, these are pretty much UK timings, so that's where I'm located. So it's easier for me to do it from here. But this void of course period, when the moon moves between Aries and into Taurus, this is a phenomenally massive void of course period. Now, it's 17 hours. I mean, this is huge. Now, a void of course moon is, for anyone who's not familiar with the moon, it's when the moon moves from one sign to another. It's not clear cut when the moon moves from one sign to the other. She doesn't just move, from Aries into Taurus. It's not like stepping from one room in your house to another room where you walk through a door, bing, you're here and bing, you're there. That's not how it is. It's sometimes there is a big space between, sometimes there's a little space between. There's generally a space between, and this is what we call the void of course. However, when it's really big, it kind of leaves a different kind of energetic imprint from the moon. She's channeling her energy in a different way, and if things are going swimmingly well for you, a huge void of course moon can actually feel really liberating, because her energy isn't being harnessed and channeled through a particular personality of a particular sign. But if you are experiencing challenge or wobbles, this could leave you feeling even more wobbly. So this is worth knowing about, simply because you also will be able to work out when it's going to end. And if you're really struggling, put down an anchor, go to ground. Remember to take those sort of stillness breaks. Take a minute of getting centered every now and then. I mean, wherever you are, you could be walking down the street, you could be at work, just within yourself, just bring yourself into a space of presence and of being, and just settle with that, knowing that this is going to pass actually. So just be conscious of this. So February 3rd to February the 4th, which is very interesting because this also connects to the point when Jupiter stations direct. Jupiter is currently in retrograde. Jupiter is a planet that wants to expand everything. Very, very expansive energy, higher minded energy as well, seeing the higher, bigger picture, truth, justice. But when planets are in retrograde, and particularly the point when they station direct, the energy again is more intense. So combined with this void of course period, we have Jupiter stationing direct in Gemini. Gemini energy, that influence, we can see both sides of the story. It's amazing. We can see things from different perspectives, but sometimes the Gemini energy can indicate some difficulty, some challenge. It can indicate conflict. I'm not suggesting every Gemini is in that sort of zone. I'm not saying that at all. But just the duality of Gemini energy, the lower vibration, means that seeing things from both sides of the story means that we could view those differences with through the lens of conflict, for example. Alternatively, if we are sitting in the higher vibration of Gemini, which is a phenomenal, amazing capacity to communicate, amazing ability to have those conversations, amazing ability to see things from all perspectives, that energy can become present. Gemini is all about learning, communication. I want to know more. Tell me more. I want to understand. I'd like to learn. And so, this can be wonderfully amazing, again, depending on what's happening in the context of your own personal life. It could be quite intense around this time. So it's like a little pocket of time that's quite intense. Overall, the first week of February is actually relatively gentle in the overall scheme of things. It heats up significantly when we get to the full moon, which is interesting because that's my next kind of date on this list. February 12th or 13th, depending on where you are on our beautiful planet, the full moon is in Leo. And this also coincides with a 6-hour void of course period. Now, 6 hours isn't as long as 17. The moon is moving from Leo into Virgo. So it's sort of coming as the moon sort of reaches her fullness and then begins to slightly diminish. I'll talk about the full moon energy as we go through the sort of details of the month in a moment. But if you think of this void of course arriving on a moon that is actually particularly intense. This is a really, really, really intense moon. It's one of those times when we might see quite significantly unexpected things happening. So those unexpected things could be firing us up into amazingness, or they could be firing us up into, oh, that's happening far too quickly. So, as I said, I'll talk about this in just a moment. We'll run through every moon phase, but it is a powerful moon. Be aware of this. Void, of course, between the 12th and the 13th. Okay, and check out the timings in your own location. February the 15th, we have a point of power. Every month there is a particular time that's located to an eclipse moon that took place in 2024. It kind of left an energy imprint, and each time the moon passes that particular spot, there's like an energy imprint of potential empowerment. I always do readings around this every month, so watch out for those readings. It's a point of power, and those readings are very orientated to kind of help you to understand where you are in that moment and to see, what you can be doing to harness that energy. If you want to make sure you never miss a reading or anything I do here, don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell icon. And thank you all of you who do subscribe. I am eternally grateful. It really does help the channel. Now, on February the 23rd, Neptune, this is when Neptune then conjuncts the North Node. Because it's exact, we can expect that to be quite a powerful day. Really, it's quite a powerful point. So, again, be conscious of that. Interestingly enough, on February the 24th, Mars stations direct. Now, I think this has a sort of a quite a helpful sort of flavour to it. Mars has been in retrograde for a while, which has meant that a lot of that go-getting, fiery, passionate energy has been kind of moving in reverse. So it feels like things can be going backwards. Also, you may have found that things are like your buttons maybe are being pressed. I think when Mars is in retrograde, Mars is the god of war. There's a lot of energy here that we can harness in a positive way, but if we're not able to harness it, we can see a lot of frustration, a lot of challenge. Mars also has been or was sitting opposite Pluto. That happened in November. It happened again I'm just trying to think, right at the beginning of January, I think, and it's going to happen again in April. These are really, really intense moments. I'll touch base with them when we get to there. But Mars will station direct, so there will be an intensity. I'd like to think that the Cancer energy, the Cancer influence might soften this. It will be interesting to see how this figures out for us all. On the 26th, we have another void of course moon between the 26th and the 27th, and this is over 10.5 hours, so this is really quite big as well. This is when the moon moves from Aquarius into Pisces, so you can see that overall as a month there are some really significantly powerful energetic points throughout the month of February. Now what I think we'll do is we'll run through the moon phases and check out the energy as we go, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit about how the moon's influence kind of either adds or softens to these energetics. So let me move on to our next page here. This is just showing you the different moon phases actually. Now let me check out, we have the new moon. Okay, so we've passed this new moon. I am very late doing this, recording this. I'm recording it on the 30th. So the new moon was actually yesterday at the time of my doing this. And it's quite likely I'm not going to get to post this until tomorrow. But anyway, however we look at it, it was actually a very lovely new moon, the Aquarius moon. It really had kind of an element of change, of shift, of opportunity. So collectively, a lot of good was coming from this particular moon. Now, I remember saying, if things are going well, take a breather, because this is going to be, really, really helpful. I did some new moon wishes. If you haven't checked out those, some new moon wishes, I did some new moon readings. If you haven't checked out those new moon readings, do find them, because I've talked a lot within those about the difference between setting wishes and intentions, because there is a difference. A wish is something that comes from the heart. We are embracing the divine feminine. An intention it's embracing the divine masculine. It's kind of I intend to do. It's got more doing kind of energy. When you combine wishes and intentions, you are creating a very powerful statement of affirmation. And, that in a way is what we do when we set new moon wishes and intentions. So this is kind of past. So normally I bring up the timings for you, but as I am doing this after the event, that is probably a little bit too late. Let's move on to the next moon phase so that you can see what is now happening. And indeed, whenever you tune in with this, you can move to whichever moon phase you need to tune into. So we're now in the waxing crescent moon phase, and this runs from January the 30th, as I am recording this today, through to February the 4th. And the moon will pass through Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and into Taurus. And the overall energy flow, actually, of this moon phase does want expansion. And there is an initial period of steady progress, and some sort of what I would call gathering momentum, where things are wanting to move ahead and build in strength. Now remember that void of course moon, 17 hours between the 3rd and the 4th. Really important, because this could be liberating and give a turbocharge to whatever you're trying to do, or it might actually, if things are moving very, very fast for you, it might feel a bit wobbly. So be conscious of this. Now, we do actually see a really delightful shift in the energy as we move into February. And this actually aligns with the Earth festivals of Imbolc in the Northern Hemisphere and Lammas in the Southern Hemisphere. These are both festivals of fertility. So there's kind of quite a sparky energy around in this moon phase. And I think, whatever took place for you in the more intense periods of January, I think we might start to see some things move forwards in this moon phase. If you think of the waxing crescent moon phase, we've had the new moon, which is when the sun and the moon sit together. So it's what we call the black moon. We can't see the moon in the sky because she's with the sun. It's like a sacred marriage. The waxing crescent moon phase is the bit that comes after that, between the new moon and the quarter moon, the first quarter. And so the energy is starting to build. The lunar energy it's like she's getting going. So if you've got other energetics astrologically that are also wanting to get going, it's a really harmonious sort of energetic. And this is quite a nice, beyond that 17-hour void of course, this is quite a nice energy to start to get things going, to see results, to see things move forwards. If stuff's been a bit stuck or a bit intense, you might start to see things energetically start to shift. So I think this is quite a lovely moon phase. Let's check out the first quarter, which is the next phase. So first quarter. This will be on February the 5th in Taurus, and the first quarter is literally when we look up in the sky and we see that half a moon. When we have a quarter moon, it means the sun and the moon are sort of at a 90-degree angle to one another. Now, a first quarter moon is always known to highlight what we need to step up into, or if there's a hurdle we need to overcome, we might be shown this. It's really about an energy of saying, right, you've started to get going, you've sown some seeds, things are building a little bit, we're just getting started. What do we need to see in order to now move something forwards? Now, the underlying dynamics today, actually on this day, do strongly emphasize self-responsibility and fairness and equality. So if anything in your world isn't actually progressing as you want it to, then kind of trust that you're being shown things so that you can actually shift that energetic. Rather than trying to push ahead if there's any underlying tensions, use this time to get still, become that witness self. Become that witness self, become the observer, notice what's happening, and trust that it's arriving with purpose. This is a really good day for us to kind of potentially be shown any underlying issues that need to be brought to the surface and understood in order to move forwards and find success. So I sort of feel this is a really good day to get still and reflect. And if your world is really, really busy, try and make some pockets of time when you can get still and reflect, because the energy is perfect for showing you what you need to see in order to then take action to shift and move something forwards. Rather than trying to react and move it forwards, just get still. Try and timetable in. I have what I call site meetings with myself. Try and timetable in some site meetings with yourself. Even if they are brief meetings where you just stop, just almost energetically take a look around, look inwards, look outwards, just get centered, get still. That's what the energy is about today. It's the best way to use the energy. That's the way to say it. I think the very best way to use this energy is literally that. Be the witness self today and get still. I think whatever you need to see, you'll be shown it. And this will really, really help. Remember, we are also still in that kind of first week where, Venus is passing the North Node. Neptune's connected there as well. We're on the Earth's axis. So we are at a space and time, particularly with the Neptune energy and the Node energy, of opening portals for us to see between the worlds, to understand everything through the lens of different dimensions. To know where we've come from in the past in order to find empowerment in the present, in order to change the future. So this is the kind of energetic that this moon is really going to embody, this moon phase. Let's move on and let me talk to you about the next moon phase. So we then move into what we call the waxing gibbous phase. So when the moon is waxing, she's getting bigger. We've had the waxing crescent, we've had the first quarter. The waxing gibbous phase is very often a time of what I would call a build-up in intensity, particularly emotionally. Lots and lots of people find this. It's that build-up to the full moon. When we reach the point of the moon being at her fullest, the energy kind of shifts and breaks open. Very good point, when we can do sort of releasing ceremonies. But this is a build-up, and it's got some intense energy around it. So this is running from February the 6th to the 11th. The moon will pass through Gemini, Cancer and Leo. And I would say whatever came to your attention or your awareness at the first quarter, this is a moon phase that invites you to now process that information and do something positive with it. And the energy kind of arrives in stages. And these stages are ultimately trying to lead you to illumination and breakthrough, which will really tie in with the very powerful full moon that's coming. So stage 1 is like revelations, epiphanies, realizations, and these might come through sudden or unexpected circumstances. Just trust the universe is showing you something if this happens. It's then followed by an energetic that kind of brings a flow of open communication. And this could lead to, I think, that an energy of heightened spiritual awareness. That energetic is around, actually. So with Neptune being at this sort of, this point, this anaretic degree, sitting in Pisces, moving into Aries, the channels are open for us. So, not always easy, because sometimes channels are open through significant events. But the dynamics are very much in the higher vibration, looking at opening channels of spiritual awareness. As I said before, the lower vibration is that we could feel a little bit confused. So be thoughtful. If you feel like somebody might be pulling the wool over your eyes during this time, or you're not quite sure about someone, or something doesn't feel quite right, I'd really be suggesting you tune into your intuition. And if you're not sure, just sit with it. Try and stay with it. And because this energy is then followed by a period which kind of supports very realistic appraisal. And then it's almost as if once we have a really, quite pragmatic and practical sort of site meeting with yourself, it's almost as though then additional information can then flow in. And this is what then provides this kind of breakthrough moments, this, wow, that's what that meant. That's what the universe was trying to tell me. That's what the higher purpose is. So very, very interesting kind of energy of really kind of being shown things, having to sit with that, not be reactive. But then suddenly these moments of, that makes complete sense now. So I think this is kind of how this is going to flow. But we are in the build-up to a full moon. Overall, the energy is quite fast-paced, so try and take it steady. Try and, again, always be that witness self, and just take a breather if you feel things are moving faster than you want them to. Let's check out the full moon. Now, the full moon on February the 12th or 13th, depending on where you are. I'll bring the timings onto the screen in a minute. The dynamics of this moon are really, really strong. So passions and emotions can run high. Full moons are often associated with high emotions anyway. There's a lot of emotionality around. And this is seriously larger than life. It's big, it's bold, it's Leo energy. And it kind of gets this turbocharged, fuel-injected surge of electrical energy because it aligns with Uranus, the Great Awakener. Uranus wants to shake us all out of our comfort zones, and Uranus is on a mission to bring us higher levels of consciousness. Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. However, Uranus kind of, I think, brings the unexpected. So this energy can really manifest through sudden and unexpected events. I kind of feel like you might want to fasten your seatbelt. Will sparks fly? And if they do, will the fireworks be really exciting and exhilarating? Or are they going to be explosive and volatile? I mean, this is the energy today. It's a big, bold, powerful moon. However it arrives in your world, focus on the bigger picture. Remember, we are being opened to spiritual awakening. We're being open to spiritual awareness. And around the time of a full moon, especially when we've had planets in retrograde, just if your buttons have been pressed, if old wounds are surfacing, they're surfacing because they need to be healed. Remember also around this time, between the 12th and the 13th, so exactly at this time, but as the moon moves from Leo into Virgo, we have a 6-hour void of course moon. Now, I think the energy of this void of course moon could really tie in with the release point. Let's bring up the timings for you of this full moon. Now, the reason it's useful to know the timings in your location is because a full moon brings a perfect energy of release. It's like there's this massive build-up, and then we reach a point where, as the moon is at her fullest, it's almost as if the energy breaks open and we can breathe it all out. We can let it go. So if you are finding that buttons have been pressed, or things are a bit intense, or there's stuff that you recognize no longer serves you, or you need healing, this is the time to kind of almost plan to do a release ceremony, or at the very least just be conscious of that timing, and again take a stillness breath and do some breath work. Take a stillness breath, take a stillness break, but within that do some breath work. And with breath work, breathing in and then releasing, because this is a moon where we could release things that are getting in the way. And I think that void of course period could help, because we can sort of use it to free ourselves, to feel liberated, to shake off things that don't work for us anymore. So I think this could work in our favour. Anyway, that's my own thoughts. I'm curious to know how it affects you personally. Come back and comment if you feel able to. It would be great to hear your experiences. We then move into the disseminating or the waning gibbous moon phase. Now, when the moon is waning, she's starting to get, her energy's diminishing. So when she's waxing, she's building up, getting bigger and bigger. And when she's waning, she's getting smaller and smaller. Her energy is diminishing. Now, this runs from February the 13th to the 19th. And she will pass through Virgo, Libra, and into Scorpio. Now, the first day of this moon phase is actually quite flowing. Kind of take advantage of it, take a breather for a day if you can, or just be present to the energy. Take the time to plan ahead, because the lunar energy is going to pick up in intensity. The predominant flavour of this time kind of suggests a bit of pushing and pulling and some shifts and some turns, again, some of which may be unexpected. Now, having said this, despite this sort of slightly erratic, potentially a bit erratic sort of dynamic flavour to the energy, there's also a kind of strong karmic feel to the energy, with the moon tuning into that karmic line. Remember, the nodes are moving. The north node is moving from Aries into Pisces, and the south node is moving from Libra into Virgo. So the moon's going to cross that point. The south node is where we've come from. It's our karma. The north node, in a way, if we can lean into that energetic, is about moving into a space of dharma, where we are much more consciously in charge of the future we're creating. So things could come to the surface, and indeed unexpectedly. So I kind of think whatever arrives in your world, even if the bigger picture isn't immediately obvious, just trust. This is one of those moments where we are really, really called to lean into trust and know there is a bigger picture, which I think is part of this overall energy of the expanding consciousness of humanity, is to tune into and be in alignment with a greater expansive consciousness of which we are all a part. We are all connected. It's just that when we are bogged down in the everydayness of our human lives on the 3D level, we can feel so wrapped up in that we lose sight of in a way, it's of our fullest potential, of who we can really be. So I sort of feel this period has got a bit of a flavour of this. So be conscious of it, remain grounded, As we literally come to the end of this moon phase, there is, the intensity really, really does increase during this moon phase, but right at the end it kind of eases, just at the last day. So it's almost again like there's a little bit of breathing space before we get to the last quarter. Let's check out the last quarter moon, which is in Sagittarius, February the 20th. Now, if we think of the first quarter moon, I spoke to you about it as being sometimes showing us hurdles, things we need to step up into, challenges, very, very helpful time to show us what we need to see to move forwards. It tends to often come at the first quarter in our external world. In the last quarter energy, we're looking inwardly very often. And we're also kind of called to walk our talk. So, this energy is going to call you to evaluate from the inside out. The energy today also in Sagittarius is inviting you to stand in your own sovereignty, in your own agency. Take full responsibility for yourself, for your personal choices and decisions. This is this walking your talk, recognizing if something's happening in your world, good, bad, or otherwise, what have you done to contribute to it? Take back your power. As long as we see other people as being responsible for where we are, we're kind of giving away our power. Now, this whole energetic is kind of added to because our beautiful moon is sitting on the cusp of deep and meaningful Scorpio and the expansive energy of Sagittarius. It's a Sagittarian last quarter moon, but she's still kind of bringing that energy of Scorpio. So with this kind of very powerful influence of internal reflection and, potential awakening from Uranus around, this really is a phenomenal day to uncover anything from within that may be holding you back. Just get still and be that witness self, but be the witness self internally today. Notice any underlying issues around you that could be preventing you from moving forwards, and not just what's going on in your external circumstances, but how you relate to those external circumstances. This really is a time to embrace your empowerment, your sovereignty, your agency through awareness. Let's move on and look at the last phase of this moon. Now, this is what we call the balsamic moon or the waning crescent moon, and this will run from February the 21st to the 27th, and the moon is going to pass through Sagittarius, Capricorn, and into Aquarius. Remember, we have that void, of course, moon for 10.5 hours, over 10.5 hours actually. This is between February the 26th and February the 27th. Okay, so right at the end of this moon phase, just before we get to the next new moon. Now, the energy of the moon phase, of the moon, is actually diminishing at this point. She's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. However, despite this easing of power, the overall dynamics of this particular moon phase do suggest like a real urge or a desire to move forwards, to expand. So if you want to move something forwards, you want something to happen, but you haven't really got the energy to follow it through, or you keep trying to move ahead, but something just isn't quite working, cut yourself some slack, actually. Give yourself some grace. Ease off a bit, because Mars is going to station direct. We spoke about that right at the start of this, and this will happen on the 24th. We will still have the Mars retrograde shadow period to work through, but I think this is going to bring a big shift in the energy. Remember, Mars stations direct in Cancer, and I remember saying right at the start of this video, I feel this is going to soften things. So try and embrace that softening. Cut yourself some slack. Nurture yourself. Any frustrations, even if things haven't been moving forwards at all, the overall dynamics suggest that not everything at this time will run smoothly. But if you just have awareness of this, and you're steady with yourself, you're gentle with yourself, you allow yourself to just sit with this rather than embodying that desire and that pressure to make something happen. Just sit back, do some breath work, drop into stillness. I think you're more likely to see forward motion if you can sort of step back rather than kind of stepping into the energy. And again, in a way, you are then in alignment with the energy of the waning crescent moon because she is easing off. So if you ease off in parallel, I think that the energy will actually probably move forward more easily. It's one of those times when I think sometimes when we try to push and plow forwards, it just doesn't work. It's almost like every force is met with an equal force. And actually, if you can ease off, it's almost as though that there might be space for the universe to support you in moving forwards, and to find your clarity of direction. But I think it's almost, I feel like the universe has the upper hand during this one. And the best thing that we can do is to sort of literally try to be responsive to that energy rather than trying to impact on it in too big a way. You know, we have had an energetic of kind of sovereignty and agency. It's almost as though if we're going to embody our own sovereignty and our own agency, we then want to move into a space where we are owning our capacity for free will and conscious choice, but simultaneously being completely open to navigating alongside spirit source, to be available to respond to the energy as it arrives. So we are constantly owning our own agency, making choices, but we're making choices in response to something and in a reflective way rather than trying to create the energy and make it happen. There's a completely different energetic. So I hope that's making some sense. But this in a way I think embodies what I would call the art of manifestation actually. You know, manifesting isn't about forcing things to happen the way we want them to happen. It's about holding our vision, holding what we want, holding what we desire, and then being constantly responsive, receptive and responsive to whatever comes our way. You know, if the universe opens a door, we do still need to step through it. If the universe closes a door, we need to respect that the door has been closed. It doesn't mean it's closing it forever, but it may mean that's perhaps not the right door, or that the timing isn't right and it'll be opened later. So there's definitely I think that's the art of manifestation, and I think this moon phase really embodies something of that energy. This is, I think, a really kind of like quite a valuable life code for living, really, in many ways. So really consider that if you find that things are feeling a little bit a little bit frustrating, or you feel there's some contradictory energy around you. We then, of course, get to the next new moon. And hopefully next month I will actually manage to do this moon month energy update ahead of time, as I normally do. But I'm just I will go with this. Life in the year, I will go with this in a suitably responsive and appropriately mutually responsive and receptive way. I think that's the best thing I can say. Beautiful souls, I hope this has been really helpful to you. That PDF of key dates, I will see if I can get that uploaded onto a website page so that you can literally download it, and I'll also send it out on my email list, and I'll get those links put in the description box below for you. I'm going to move on and do some readings, and let's have a look at this extraordinary turning point of energy that is around at the moment, this karmic capacity for us to move between the worlds, to see between dimensions. And let's ask how this energetic can be helping you at this time. So, beautiful souls, I'll see you in the readings in just a moment. Hey Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome to today's readings. I am feeling mega excited about these readings. For those of you who tuned into the energy update, the lunar energy update for the first part of this video, thank you so much. It's always a privilege to really look at that kind of information. So it's really, really wonderful to be sharing it with you. Now, these readings, I always post a pick a card reading on a Friday anyway, but these readings are tuning in to this phenomenal karmic moment where the nodes are shifting signs. This is very, very big. It's a huge sort of shift in energy. It's a huge portal of energy that kind of changes its resonance. So we are asking really about your karmic pathway. Can we reveal your karmic pathway in alignment with this shift, with this sort of astrological energy? So these are the 3 cards that have come through so far. I'm going to draw a charm and runes as well for you, for those that like to have those too. Let me show you the cards first. If you want to zap straight through to the readings as well, if you already know which of these readings is sort of singing to you, the timestamps are below. So this is pile 1, card number 26, Love and Light. That is pile 1. Pile 2, we have card number 17, Galactic Healer. That is pile 2. And pile 3, we have card number 20, Hidden Realms. Okay, so those are our 3 cards, and if you like to see the charms and the runes as well, let me get those for you. Okay, I'm going to place these little buttons here because it means that you can see the charms a little bit better. I'll be pausing the video or letting it run for a few moments as well once I've drawn these, just to give you a little bit more time. And welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome if you are returning. Welcome if you are new. Let's see what we have. So pile 1, your rune is coming out straight away. You have Berkana, the rune of growth. And your charm is a Pegasus horse, a flying horse. Wow, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Okay, then we have pile 2. Yep, your rune is, you have the rune of Nathus. Now, Nathus is like a rune of constraint or patience. And I can't believe this. Look at this, would you? You have the charm of Pegasus, the flying horse. This has actually never, ever, ever happened. This is the very first time ever in any of my readings here on YouTube I've drawn the same charm for 2 readings. If that charm was singing to you, you may well find there is a message in pile 1 and pile 2. There may be a connection. We won't know, of course, until we get there. Lastly, wow, okay, this is just unprecedented. But then again, we are living in unprecedented times, that's for sure. Okay, so we have, your rune is, for pile 3, Kano, the rune of openings, and your charm is an angel wing. I say an angel wing, you may think it's a bird wing, but I was seeing it as an angel wing. So that is the charm and the rune for pile 3. Okay, beautiful souls. I'm going to now leave the camera running for a little bit longer for you. Take your time. You know, if you need a bit more time, that's totally fine. Just sit with the energy of these, and the timestamps are below. I am mega excited about these readings. Just, we are sitting at such an extraordinary, pivotal moment in time. So, right, beautiful souls, tons of love. I'm going to stop waffling, leave you to tune into your readings, and I will see you in the readings in just a moment. Pile 1, welcome to your reading at such an extraordinary time. Berkana is the rune of growth. It's not just a small amount of growth. It's like a whole new chapter of life unfolding. It's symbolized by the birch tree, which indicates new growth. and a really significant amount of renewal. Let's draw your oracle cards. Now, I have quite a feeling about your reading already as to what this is saying about your karmic pathway. I'm going to give you two of those, seem to be coming through, but I'm not going to dive in yet. I think we'll just draw some more cards, see what is confirmed. We'll look at your oracle cards first. Yes, there's a very distinct energy around you. Very distinct. Okay. Right, let's see what your oracle cards are showing us. Here we have work through your fears. Yeah, this is a confirmation here. We have dolphin, play, swim in the happy joy of living, inhale confidence and exhale fear. Dive into your wisdom, go with the flow. And then we have heron, patience. Create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring rewards. Let's move these along, actually. And then we have the impossible made possible. I am loving your reading and loving your karmic pathway as it is unfolding. Now, you are here in this next chapter of life to assist people potentially, or indeed, you know, change starts with us. So this could be talking about you directly, or it could be talking about a pathway in which you offer this to others. But this is absolutely about renewal. It's about helping people to almost like to start again. You know, herons indicate the birthing, like babies are often seen and depicted as being brought by storks, herons, by this kind of bird. Work through your fears, the impossible made possible. I think literally this is about being able to help people to release, possibly get over some kind of fear. Some of you could become counsellors, possibly particularly with addictions as well. You know, the card of love and light. This is a card that is about a profound depth of unconditional love. And through that love being able to heal and regenerate. Literally giving people the wings to fly. How interesting. We have the card of isolation. And we have the card of enlightenment. Now this is the throat chakra, the blue chakra, which is, and this is the solar plexus. I think maybe you help people to have a voice. I'm hearing if, what's that saying? Is it like when the coat, I'm thinking when the face doesn't fit, the face has to fit. But this is feeling like when the coat doesn't fit. I mean, the story of this card is about someone who kind of had this beautiful suit hanging up in their wardrobe, but only kind of wore it once and then never put it on again because he didn't want to get it dirty. This card is all about not taking an opportunity, not being able to live life to the full, not being able to say yes to an invitation and go for it. It's kind of that recognition that, it's like now is the moment. Now we have a card of enlightenment. You see, I think this shift is opening up. This is either actually within your world, like an opening for you to literally fly, for you to embrace life. If you have been living in isolation, or you've been kind of closed off to possibility, or you've been struggling to feel that you can get out and play, enjoy life. I feel this is a really big new shift in creating that space of possibility for you. I also think in your karmic pathway, for some of you, you might be assisting people to find this. It could be your pathway to actually help people to see that something is possible, to shift that perspective, to work through their fears. But it could also be about you working through yours. Be renewed. This is what this is all about, renewal. absolutely. But it's renewal and a return. It's like a return to happiness, being able to get out and play and have fun and literally enjoy, to embrace joy. And to be enjoyed as well, for you to be enjoyed. That's what I hear. The impossible made possible. I'm very curious. Let's get more cards and see where this is going. What else are we shown here for my lovely pile ones? I mean, we could ask, if this is personal to my pile ones, where is this going? Let's ask about it in a personal way, and then we'll ask about your calling, if there's a calling in it for some of you. Okay, so in a personal way, can we ask, please, for pile 1, what we are shown for pile 1? What is the message here? Thank you so much. So we have Princess of Swords. She has a very defensive energy, actually. I'm seeing you stepping up in power. Okay. You know, the messages that are coming through with the Princess of Swords, I see her both, if I think of the what I would call the higher and the lower vibration of this, or we look at it through the lens of sovereignty and agency and empowerment. This is about someone who, rather than being almost like on an autopilot defense, I think with the Queen of Wands, is literally learning that she is completely capable of looking after herself. We also have the Queen of Discs. So Princess of Swords. I'm also seeing some of you cut cords to something. Queen of Wands and Queen of Discs. We have the Emperor. Wow, going off on a quest. I love this Emperor card in this pack. Or the packs, I should say, as well. For any of you guys that really love the cards, I always list them in the description box, so you can check them out there. We have the Emperor. We have the Three of Swords. Look at you saying no to something. And here's your rebirth. We have 2 8s. That's very interesting. 8 of Cups, which I'm seeing as a rebirth. I always feel this is like, you know, we're sailing off to a new future. I think what you are removing in your future, what you're removing, this is the karmic element of what's coming through here in your reading. I think that you have been held back, fearful. I mean, again, 8 of Swords is about being tied by our fears, tangled by our fears, trapped by our own thinking patterns. I'm seeing you released and renewed from there's some kind of an internal perspective, something that stops you from being able to go out and love. This is unconditional love coming in that heals, regenerates. What is it that happens to enlighten you, to make this possible, to create this? Yellow is the solar plexus, which is an energy, you know, this. If this is about the voice, I speak, then this is about creation. It's I do. So this is moving from a place where you don't feel you can have a voice to a place where you're absolutely out there. So I see this phenomenal shift. What I'm curious about, I mean, it may just be that this is what the energy brings. It brings an opening. But I am wondering in very practical terms, really practical terms, how this happens. I will come back and ask about your calling as well. If this is, for those of you for whom this is a calling for you to help others. Because this is moving from a place of defensiveness to a place of absolute empowerment, where you are very able to make choices, very able to call the shots, to say yes or no, to yourself as well as others, actually. What kind of, let's ask if there are any circumstances that we can be shown around this. Like what comes along to cause you to do, as it were, to move away, to move out of isolation and to do. When we know if any actual events take place that pile 1 could be aware of to initiate this. May we ask if there are events taking place that initiate this. Okay. So we have the Two of Discs. What else do we have here? Invocation. Two of Discs, Invocation, and the Knight of Wands. Okay, I think, isn't this fascinating that this shows up today as we are doing readings, or I am doing readings, that connect to the moon month energy update? Because look at the moon month we have here. I think this is to do with a wish, or I talked a little bit about wishes and intentions, and I spoke about those in some other readings really recently as well. I think it was the new moon readings that I talked about them in quite a lot of detail. Wishes come from the heart. Intentions are about doing. Yes, of course. So this is wishes and intentions. Wishes connect to the divine feminine. They are what you desire from the heart. And isolation is because we have been hurt. We felt broken or unhappy about something, or we felt we had to retreat. So, and this is to do with heartbreak. You know, fears that are associated with something going wrong. And so that's what I'm seeing here. I think something that you wish for. Now, whether you have wished for this over many moons, every new moon when you set your wishes and intentions, maybe this could be a priority wish for you, or whether it is something you've literally just wished for at the most recent new moon. I think it's coming in. Look at the energy coming into you. This is someone or something coming into you. The two of Discs is an opening, an opportunity in real terms. This is something you've wished for, so I'm not being given specific details, but as a general reading, of course, it will be so unique to you. But this is the opening for you to step out of isolation, as it were, or to step out of, a retreat or a place where you are kind of not out there, where you would rather turn down an invitation than grasp it, or any kind of fear that is holding you back. Depression, anxiety, anything that connects to the stuff of your mind as well. This is a new beginning, and it comes because something you've wished for is going to be arriving. It's literally going to arrive. Now, I'm just really now tuning in with the energy of that moon month energy update that I've just talked about, because I remember saying to you there's a point in the moon month where it's kind of like, your passions could be ignited, and it's really the energy is really heightened, and it's we have a very, very, very powerful and very intense full moon in Leo. And it's kind of like, is this going to be a profound celebration, or is it going to be lots of emotions that make us feel challenged? I think for you guys, it's a celebration, because something comes along to take you out of that zone where you feel that you can't grasp life. And you step into the new. This is a new chapter unfolding. You leave these patterns behind. And it's something that you have wished for that brings this to you. So whatever is on your priority wish list, that's what you want to be looking for, or looking out for, or waiting for. If you've done your 10 new moon wishes, then, what's that wish at the top, or what's the thing, or the circumstance, the situation, the job, the house, the home, the person, that whatever it is, what is it that you are longing for? That's the top priority wish, I think. That comes in with this karmic shift of energy. Sets you forth on a whole new adventure. Now, let's ask for cards if this is like your calling, your purpose. May we see information. So we have the Six of Cups, which is a beautiful, beautiful energy. Look at all the love coming in here, being poured in here from these cups. And this beautiful seagull. I always think this card always reminds me of that wonderful book, Jonathan Livingstone's Seagull, who again overcomes fear, sets forth on a new adventure. What else are we shown here in terms of calling, purpose? Will any of my pile ones follow something through and hear this kind of element of regeneration as part of what they are going to be doing and contributing? Or is it really, I mean, it may just be that this is more personal for you. Let's check in. Let's check in and see. Okay. We have, oh, look at this. We have the Knight of Swords. I love this. You know, the Knight of Swords is such a forthright, dynamic, clear-cut pathway. Yeah, I think you will enable people. We have Temperance as well. And the Nine of Cups. I think you will help people return to love. Yeah, we have the Queen of Cups. Where shall I place these? I tell you what, I'm going to move these two down here. Yeah, I'll just put them here for a minute and move these up here. We have the Queen of Cups, we have the Four of Cups, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. I think for some of you, if there is something you are going to train in or work in, I think this energy shift will bring an opening with the Wheel of Fortune. An opening for you to embrace something that enables people. It could also be enabling you to find your freedom. You're bringing people into love, in alignment with love. Also stability I see in the Four of Cups here. There's a very stable kind of energy. I almost feel these, even though it's the Four of Cups, I always feel these look almost like pentacles. Contentment. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for, you know, when we think about happiness, joy, love, all of these, you know, happiness, joy are all elements of love. Contentment is actually an element of love. I think you will help people to stabilize. I think many of you will help people emotionally with all of these cups showing up. You'll help people to be balanced with Temperance. You'll help people to heal. So many cups here. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? And with the Knight of Swords, such a decisive energy. Some of you could be working with people who have addictions. But you will be, if this is a calling for you, you will be helping people to overcome their problems, to turn things around, literally. Well, this is, oh, hello. My computer just made a noise. It's like, boop. Something popped up. Yes, very interesting. That happens every now and then, but it happens quite randomly. And, you know, I can go for many, many readings and that just doesn't happen. And then suddenly it does. How interesting. I wonder if this wish just pops up. This is a month. If you haven't checked out the energy update, you might want to. This is a month when there are pockets of time when I think unexpected things can happen, unexpected stuff can show up. And I think a top priority wish is to arrive that creates either an opening that takes you on this calling, if that's, you know, if you're pretty cool and okay with your world already, you've kind of overcome things, navigated stuff in your world, you're in a good stable place, and you're looking for, I don't know, or even a career calling or a purpose arrives, it probably shows up, it may well show up unexpectedly. But if this is also in a personal way, your own renewal, your own regeneration, again, something, it kind of arrives, I think, in quite an unexpected way. That's what I think we're going to see. Because it's unexpected, we probably won't be shown how it's going to arrive, or it won't be unexpected. I've followed through with some readings before, and it's like, nope, we're not showing you that. It needs to be unexpected. It needs to be like a surprise. But I don't think it will be a surprise because we've identified it. But it's sort of like the way it shows up. Or perhaps even the power, the passion that comes with it will surprise you. You know, when you feel something like a calling or an urge to do something and you think, I want to do that. I really want to do that. And the more you think about it, the more you know you want to do it. I think it's going to have that passion, that kind of, yeah, that sort of that drive. You'll want to follow it through. You'll want to go on this new adventure. It's like someone presenting you with an invitation as well. Yes, a circumstance or an invitation opens, and you will just know you want to do it. That there's not going to be any holding back. And I think this is whether this is your own evolution, your own transformation, or it's the area, the direction, the calling it takes you in. I think for some of you, literally an invitation shows up. And whereas you might once have said no, hopefully because you have watched this reading, it'll stay with you, an invitation or some opportunity shows up. I do think it could well be an invitation, actually. And you will just want to do it. You will absolutely, you'll feel compelled to do it, I think. However that shows up. And it does connect to something you have been wishing for, some element of your life that you have been wishing for and hoping would be delivered to you. Yeah, like a doorway opening for that wish or that intention. I think this is pretty cool, if I'm truly honest. Wow. I don't think there's anything else to say. I might just draw a few more cards just to see. It's lovely to follow through just to see if anything else is shown. But I kind of feel your reading is quite clear, actually, pile one. There's to be an invitation. If it's in front of you already, you will probably almost certainly know what it is, but it may not yet have showed up. Can we just have any other guidance or any further info around this, please? I'm seeing this and this and this. Okay, let's just pop these down. Okay, we have the Ace of Hats, which is the Ace of Cups. That feels like such a confirmation. We then have the Eight of Oysters, which is the Eight of Pentacles. This is very interesting for some of you. This could be like something that is currently like a hobby that could become a career pathway, something that you really love and enjoy, but have never thought it could escalate, can become a part of your pathway. You have the Two of Pentacles showing up again, Two of Oysters. So I do feel it's very compelling. I think it's something that really the resources and energy are around for you to get going. I don't think it's just a question of it's not like this is not a reading where it's like an idea comes to you and then you're going to take that idea into your cave and mull on it. This is let's get going. Here's the idea, let's get to it. We have the Three of Cups, Three of Hats. And we have the Tower card. Wow. Which in this instance, I think is a very, very fortuitous card. We have the Lizard here, which is also embodies transformation and regrowth as well, coming back to this regeneration. If you pick up a lizard by its tail, and it will lose its tail, rather than be caught by a predator, for example, it will lose its tail and then it grows again. I mean, it's one of the few creatures, may even be the only creature, I'm not actually sure, that can literally regrow a part of its body. Yeah, this is the regeneration. This is a really powerfully positive showing up of the Tower card. It really is. This is literally regrowth, regeneration, kind of almost like at a cellular level. So whether this is you yourself, or this is something that takes you on that pathway where you offer this to others, could even be a bit of both for some of you. Literally, there will be an invitation or an offer of something being offered to you. And I think it will be quite compelling. And if you're not sure, if it was something like a training, for example, you might suddenly find that the resources come to you You kind of know you want to do it and offer to join something or to do, it's very much a doing, to do something here, or to go out and meet people, or whatever it will be, taking you out of this isolation, releasing that fear. But I think whatever you need will come to you. And we see this card of celebration, love, joy, happiness, connectedness with others. So yeah, whatever your top priority list, wish, your list, top priority wish on your list, this is, I think there's going to be a bit of a tower moment where you are offered something, and overcoming all fears, you will just want to grasp it. I think with a passion, you're going to be ignited, fired up, and desire this. So yeah, whether this is you personally, therefore overcoming, regenerating, or this is a pathway that means you can assist others to do exactly that in some shape or form. Wow, this is your reading, and this is your karmic pathway revealed, that's in a way that is connected to this absolute point and moment in time, right here and right now. Wow. Pile 1, thank you for being here. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for liking and sharing and subscribing, and especially for subscribing. It really does help the channel, so thank you so much. Don't forget to press the little bell icon if you want to make sure you never ever miss a reading, and I will see you again for another reading really soon. If you're on my email list or in the membership area or on Patreon, I will literally in the next few days be giving you an update. Very exciting things happening with my tarot course. So many hiccups during January. Anyway, I'm waffling away. I don't need to share all this with you right now, but yes, just the energy, isn't it? The energy that calls us to persevere, the energy that calls us to keep going. Anyway, I will share all that in a video over on those other platforms, and in my emails I'll be letting you know what's happening with all of this. Tons of love. Welcome all of you, and thank you so much for being here. Pile 2, welcome to your reading. The second of our Pegasus horses. This has never happened before. This feels like it's unprecedented, which makes me feel that maybe there is something unprecedented that is going to be shown to us about your karmic pathway, something to be revealed. Let's draw your oracle cards first and see what we are shown. We have this one. No, that's not feeling right. I think we'll just go with the one. I found myself being a little indecisive there. That's interesting. Let's listen to that. I knew there were two cards somehow coming through somewhere. It's these. Let's see what else we have. We have this one and this one. Okay, let's look at your oracle cards first. What is unprecedented? Wow, bison abundance, sacred buffalo. Cloak me in your wisdom, keep me warm through the storms of life. Fill my life with goodness. Teach me the way of gratitude and prayer. Move forwards with an open mind. Wow, we have a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. Gosh, look at the energy here. The lion and the deer. And we have Star Mother Arrakis. Star Mother Arrakis. Okay, let's lay your cards out. Wow. Wow, Galactic Healer, Star Mother Arrakis. This is, gosh, this is a significant energy, isn't it, really? We also have impartiality and creation. Both of these are the crown chakra. Gosh, talk about your intuition opening up. Talk about wisdom channeling through you. Talk about you becoming, your mind being opened, literally opened. Now this is very interesting. This is a rune of constraint, of patience, and yet Pegasus is free to fly. I wonder if there is some constraint around you right now, and this will come from this sort of portal of energy, because we see a portal of energy here and a portal of energy here. I wonder if something is being opened up for you literally right now in this portal. Something will reach a point where it can open. Something you have been creating or working on. What is our impartiality card telling us, I wonder? I think you are perhaps going to see something differently, or maybe you're being asked to see something differently. Star Mother Arrakis is, and impartiality both, and creation too. All of these cards speak of kind of owning your gifts, almost, you know, being able to embrace your gifts, not being afraid to take an ownership, to be kind of, I'm muddling my words a little bit here, but it's like to really own your potential here in something. Impartiality is about seeing something from both sides, or stepping into someone else's shoes and looking through that lens. With the Star Mother Arrakis, you can see from the stars. It's like looking down and seeing something from a different perspective. Opening your mind. The lion and the deer as well. It's like, you know, the energies of the lion and the deer can seem really opposite. Like, you know, a lion can defend and, you know, be ferocious. Well, I guess it can be gentle like a kitten too. You know, deer energy is very gentle. Lion energy is, it's a very different vibration. But both can sit side by side. I'm going to draw your tarot cards before I say too much more about this. Your karmic pathway revealed. May we please see more about this, please? You have the Two of Discs. Now, if you were drawn to pile 1 as well, there may well be a message in there for you, because we had the Pegasus horse and we have the Two of Discs showing up again as well. I'm going to go with all of those and also that one. And I'm also seeing this one too. It's actually those two. Okay, so this also came up. My gosh, this also came up in pile 1. Okay, however, look, we have the High Priestess. We have the Nine of Discs. We have the King of Swords. Okay. We then have, how interesting, look at this, we have a lion, the lion and the deer showing up. We have the Nine of Cups. We have the card of Strength with the lion there and the King of Discs. Right, okay. Okay, and we have abundance. I think that you have a gift or something within you, a creative idea or something you either are creating or that you can create. Now, for some reason, there's been some hindrance to this, or constraint, or yes, you've been very patient, as this is, you've had to be quite patient with yourself, like the deer energy. But actually, maybe people have actually restricted you because of your gifts. Maybe you have restricted yourself because of your gifts. I think circumstances are opening your crown chakra. I think you are being opened. You are literally being awakened to be a kind of channel. Look at all the head energy here. Look at the way the Nine of Cups, it's like all expanding from his crown chakra. Here in the King of Discs, everything is above this king's head. And look at this, look, we have the lion and we have the deer antlers here. I think maybe you have been trying to, the Pegasus horse, Pegasus, you know, a horse is actually a grounded creature, isn't it? I think you've been trying to get something off the ground. Horses live on the earth, but Pegasus, when they are given wings, a horse can then fly. I think you have been trying to get something off the ground. And I think it is leading you to a pathway of abundance. I think it is literally a kind of a calling for you. Maybe not everybody sees it in impartiality. Maybe not everybody will have around you will get what you're doing. You know, if you're in a, I don't know, if it's like you could even be in a partnership with someone who doesn't get what you're doing because, you know, they're not opened in the same way that you are. But you see, our times are changing. You know, the consciousness of the collective is opening up, and you are one of those people who is at the forefront of that consciousness opening up. That's absolutely for sure here. What I think is really interesting is it is something that you can turn into some kind of a career with abundance here. You may need quite a practical plan. With the Nine of Discs, you know, I do see, you know, abundance arriving here. This is about fulfillment. To have the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Discs is really amazing. We have the Two of Discs here. It's like a fruit split or a nut split down the middle and opened. And what do we see the insides of this? Kind of hearing, what's that saying, splitting hairs? I almost want to say, don't get bogged down in the detail. Nathus is a rune that sometimes sort of says we do need to pay attention to the detail. We need to be, like if you were signing a contract, for example, this would suggest that you actually make sure you read the details of the contract. You know, don't walk into something without looking at it. That's what this rune would be saying to you in that particular setting. But you know, in the bigger settings, in the circumstances you're in, this feels for me, you know, don't split hairs. Don't, there is something that you are doing or have available to you to do, to bring forth. And if you get too bogged down in the detail, it's like when you edit and then you edit again and you edit again and you edit again. If you're writing, and it's like actually, if you're writing your first novel and you have an amazing idea, and it's literally channeling through you. And this is actually going to do really well, this novel, okay? This is primed for abundance, so it's doing well. And, you know, it requires your focus with the King of Swords here. You know, and it requires your focus and your investment. And your belief, having the courage of your convictions and your belief that you can bring this forth and that people want to read your book, you know, all of these things. But it's like you start writing the book and then you start to get really pernickety about it. You've written, you know what you want to write. You know the story. It's in your mind. You have it there. But actually you start to think about, well, what would somebody think about this? Or how would they think about that? Or maybe I could word it better this way or give it a different title. And you get bogged down in the detail. And you're editing your first chapter. And then, you know, the second chapter and the third aren't happening because you're tangled in the detail. Don't be tangled in the detail. Because this would hold you back. You're in a place at this absolute time, whenever you come to this reading, because they are always timeless, but obviously it is sort of timed, this reading, because of the moon energy update that I have added, you know, at this moment. But don't be bogged down by the detail. The energy is absolutely primed for you. You know, in this point in your karmic pathway revealed, this is almost like showing you the next steps on your karmic pathway with something. And it's to bring it forth. Don't be tangled in the detail. Don't get hung up on the detail. Get going. Stop worrying about, you know, who may like it and who, you know, some people will like it, some people won't. Doesn't matter. You're doing it for the people who will like it. This is definitely like you're being called to bring this forth. A fiery climax approaches. For many of you, it may be that you are already at a point where it really is kind of almost ready to go out, but you're still tweaking. And maybe there are a few, for some of you, maybe there are some tweaks to be done, last minute tweaks, but don't be tweaking them forever and not put it out there. There is a fiery climax approaching, so something is going to kind of burst forth. The climax could also be if you're doing something and you have been feeling stuck with Nathis, that energy of constraint. Like if you've written your novel and you've got to the very end, but you can't work out the last chapter or the final bit. Open yourself to receive information and then make it happen, because I think it's like the final stage of something, having to push through the final stage of something, but it's coming. I think we'll get some more information for you. What are we shown here? Yeah, what else are we shown here? Let's ask for more information and guidance for you. My lovely pile twos. This is very encouraging. It really is suggesting that you really do keep going here, but open yourself to receive the guidance that you need to bring this forth and make it real. Oops. I'm moving all the cards. Let's pop that back. Put strength back in its place. Okay, you have the Fool. Wow. Take a risk. Put it out there. Send it off. Don't be tied up in the details. Send your manuscript off. Don't hold yourself back. We have the Fool. Okay, we have the 8 of Cups. Yeah, look at you marching forth. And it's the same figure that we see in the Fool. I think this is I'm trying to think, this is the Mad Hatter, isn't it? Yeah, even if you think this is a mad idea, a mad crazy idea, or a mad crazy book, it's going to work. The Knight of Oysters is a card of harvest. Get to it. Leave any doubt behind. This is absolutely worth putting it out there. We have the 10 of Peppermills, which is the 10 of Wands in a traditional pack. And then we have the 6 of Peppermills, the 6 of Wands, which is the card of success. This is going to be your crowning glory. And look at this, we have the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Cups, the 3 of Hats, but yeah, 3 of Cups. This is going to be celebrated. I think some of you are holding yourselves back. I'm not saying that there aren't circumstances around you. So let's say, if we think of the different kind of scenarios, some of you could well have been holding yourselves back to that sort of paying too much attention to the detail. Yes, you need some, but not too much, or worrying about what people would think. For others, there could have been some constraint around you, some real physical constraint. Perhaps, even because of people's attitudes, people not seeing something in the way that you see it or believing in you. But this is absolutely, the shift in the energy in your karmic pathway is basically to set forth. It's like, get it going, take it out there. Literally, you're being offered an opportunity here with the energy to channel. The energy source spirit wishes to channel through you to make this happen. It's a specific project, idea, opportunity, creation. Get going, pile 2. Don't hold yourself back. If there's any moments of doubt, just open yourself to receive guidance. You are going to be guided every step of the way. This is the point when this is supposed to move out into the world. And I think do very well, actually, with the card of abundance. Yeah, this is the point to let go of that idea. Don't be precious over it. Send it forth into the world with trust and belief, even if it's not even quite finished yet. Send it off as an idea. This is my draft novel. Send it off to an agent. This is my draft novel. I'd welcome some additional editorial advice, but this is my draft novel. This is my idea. Send it forth. It doesn't have to be perfect. Put it out there. Yeah, I think this is what your reading is about. And this karmic energy, this portal, this shift, as the nodes move signs, is very interesting actually. If we think of that, if you were watching the energy update before these readings, you'll have heard a little bit about this. But right at this moment in time, and this is the energy of transformation, that portal. So the North Node is moving from Aries into Pisces, which opens these spiritual gateways for you. The South Node is moving from Libra into Virgo, and Virgo is about paying attention to the detail. And Nathis can also encourage us to pay attention to the detail. But as I said, this is what I'm hearing here, I feel, is very much to do with don't hold yourself back. The South Node is about our past. You could have a really raging inner critic that is in the way of you sending this forth, but just send it forth. It doesn't have to be perfect. Send out that draft. Send out that idea. Because this is looking as though it's going to come forth. You may feel like I sort of think with the 10 of Peppermills, 10 of Wands, it's quite a big idea. But I also want to say, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. I think it is a big idea, maybe, or it can, you may be feeling a bit overloaded with responsibility. You might be worried about how to take it forwards, but we've got success here and celebration. So, don't make it into a big deal here. Let's draw just a few more cards to see how this pans out. Maybe ask for a few more cards. I think this is really saying to you this. It's time to listen to the guidance you're shown and let this happen. Let this emerge. May we please get any more advice? We'll just have a sneaky peek as to where it's going. Okay, we have Princess of Cups. Okay, that's the Page of Cups. Okay. We have the Magician. How interesting. Look at that. Yes, this is... I feel that the next stage of development will then emerge really in a really good way. We have King of Wands. Yeah, absolutely. And look at that Lion energy again. So this is... The pages are such a youthful energy. So I think what will emerge if you send this forth, yeah, for sure, it's like sending that book idea out. I think then, with your agent on board, you can then work at the next stage of this and bring it to fruition. You'll be very much empowered to take this forwards. Whatever this idea is, whatever this creative project, venture. Wow, pile 2. It feels really exciting. Let us know in the comments how things are going. And thank you so much. I mean, welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you are returning. If you haven't checked out the energy, at the lunar energy bit at the front of this video, you might want to. It is quite a powerful month, and there's definitely periods of time to kind of push something out there, and other times to be more reflective, and also to be shown moments where we can really see what we need to do to be able to step forward. So use that energy, use it to harness the energy, use it to your advantage. Pile 2, tons of love. This feels really exciting. Beautiful souls, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Don't forget to press the little bell icon if you want to make sure you never miss a reading. And yeah, tons and tons of love. Any of you that are on my email list, I'll be updating you literally in the next few days about my tarot course, and likewise if you're on Patreon or in the membership area. And tons and tons of love, beautiful souls. Yes, now that's an exciting project in the making. Beautiful souls, tons of love. See you soon for another reading, and have a wonderful, 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 well, have a wonderful pathway forwards with this. It looks to me as if this is really going to work out for you seriously big time. Pile 3, welcome to your reading. There is a very shamanic energy to this card, actually. Let's see what we are shown. You have 2 coming from this pack. Okay, your spirit animal guides are Black Bear Guardian and Elk Nobility. These are interesting. What else do we have here for you? Let us see. May we ask about the karmic pathway revealed. What is happening in this incredible portal of energy for my beautiful pile 3s? Okay, right, seeing 3 from this pack. Okay, let's have a check out on your cards. So we know we have Elk, Nobility. Celebrate your accomplishments with humility. You are crowned with success. Powerful forces guide you. Your ability to conquer challenges is limitless. Black Bear Guardian, gentle and wise protector. Give me your confidence and power. Help me protect the ones I love. Awaken my intuition and guide me. We have a new romantic cycle begins. Okay. She offers the sacred wine, so drink. Ooh, okay. Okay, this may well be about relationship. Although there's a very distinct other element to it. Let's look at your cards, and I may even draw your tarot cards before I dive really full on into your reading. We have miracle, we have release, and we have renewal. Okay. I'm going to put the miracle here. I sort of feel like I think the miracle is about to take place in this portal of energy. It's opening up a miracle. Now, whether this miracle is love of yourself, or it is romance, it is, literally romance as in a new partner or a new phase of within an existing relationship. But what is really crucial here is that this is a connection with someone. Could be your connection with yourself, but I am inclined to think this is a connection with someone. So if this is not resonating around relationship, and it may not be your pile, though having said that, this can apply to an existing relationship. What I'm seeing here is a relationship that supports you in your kind of shamanic pathway, or your to own your own empowerment, to own your own success. With Black Bear Guardian, I feel like this is somebody who's going to come in and have your back. Even in elk, we see the elk and then standing over a smaller elk, either a baby or a female maybe that's set further away. But there's protection. This is someone who comes in and gives you protection. Allows you to renew, to put down fears of being alone is what I'm seeing actually in this card. I'm seeing this figure alone, feeling like you will always be alone, feeling like you'll never be fully understood, feeling like you can never be fully yourself. Let's say you have remarkable gifts and abilities, but you've never ever met anybody who could really support you in those gifts and those abilities. This is someone who can. Now, it could be a friend. It could be as well. It doesn't have to be love. It could, but for some of you, it is partnership. It is a person, but it could be a colleague, a friendship where somebody just says you're amazing, and they really, really, really want to support you on your current pathway. They get you. They understand you. Let's draw some tarot cards and see what else we're shown here. May we please have information about this karmic pathway? It does feel very much as though it is around a connection with someone coming in, really has your back, really open to supporting you on some element that is specific to you. It does feel like a shamanic calling or an energy of something opening here for you, because there is an opening. The opening could be the relationship itself, but yeah, it could absolutely also be an existing relationship, but you're on a pathway. Right, I'm stumbling here, which is interesting. I don't generally stumble. So let's look at the rest of your cards. And what is that? There is a stumble, though. There's been a stumble. There's been something you've had to process. That's what that's about. Maybe you have honestly never thought that either the person you're with or your friendship group or your family or that anybody would really, really, really get behind you. Perhaps you never thought you would meet someone who would really get behind you. I feel it has been a stumbling block, but you can put it behind you. We have Three of Cups, which is a celebration of love. But love and partnership, friendship, wonderful. We have Knight of Swords and the Universe. And we have the Fool. Wow. That's pretty cool. Let's move these along. I think we can get one more card in here. Can we do that? Yes, we can. And we have the Empress. Yes. Then we have the Knight of Wands. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And we have the Queen of Wands. Okay. This is pretty amazing. Okay. Let me put these up here. Right. Yeah, this is someone coming in to help you, who has your back, who sees your potential, who sees you as you are, literally sees you. Someone who has enough consciousness, enough awareness to really have your back. But it's really interesting because they're having your back on who you are from a spiritual perspective or from a calling or pathway perspective. For being who you are, literally. To own your gifts, but not feel that you are isolated because of your gifts, but that you can own your gifts. For some of you, it could even be a group of people. It could be, I guess, a friendship group or a community group, or even a working group. But this is someone coming in who supports you to step up into the fullest potential of your gifts or your calling or a pathway that you are already wanting to follow. And it feels like a miracle. It really feels like a miracle, because I think you sort of know in your heart of hearts that you have something to bring forth. I think you feel it. You know, when you feel it in your bones, that you've probably always felt it, even as a little person. You've probably always felt that somehow there would be a purpose for you. There would be something that you would want to follow. But for some of you, it's been really hard to find out what that is. And if you're not actually sure what your kind of calling and purpose is, I think it will be revealed to you quite soon. But the point is, it comes at a time when somebody honours you and supports you, which means that you can own those gifts. It's for some of you, it could be something that you could have just put to one side. The idea that you could follow this pathway, and yet someone comes in who supports you and helps you to make this grow, helps you to grow. This is a really big turning point for you. It's a really, really big turning point. This portal of energy is opening something. For some of you, it is, love as well. It is literally being in a relationship with somebody who says, I think what you do is amazing. I think who you are is amazing. Someone who wants to support you. What it creates, though, is this new beginning. We have the Fool, we have the Universe. I mean, you could not get two more powerful cards here. The Universe is the card of the world, and then the Fool. So this is the ending of something and a new beginning. And I think this is the ending of isolation. I think it's the ending of feeling like you're out in the cold, the ending of feeling like you don't fit. I think some of you have possibly even really been kind of a bit pushed out in the cold because of your beliefs, or because of your knowledge, because of your levels of consciousness, and because of your levels of awareness. But this is the renewal of the fullness of this. I mean, wow, to get the Wheel of Fortune as well with these two cards together. You are going to move forwards in leaps and bounds. The Knight and the Queen. Literally, this is one of those readings where, you know, when you get that incredible energy, when you fall in love, it's like you feel like you can do anything. You know, you feel that you can overcome anything. Celebrate your accomplishments with humility. You are crowned with success. It's just makes such a difference when you know that somebody has your back. When somebody says, you know, coming home at the end of the day to someone who says, you are amazing. How was your day? You know, how can I support you? You know, you can do this. Or you find a manager or a mentor who says, look, you are incredible. You know, we can support you in every way. We've got your back here. Let's make this happen. Or friends or colleagues, you know, a community who say, wow, this is incredible. How can we support you? This is the energy here. People or a group of people, or for many of you it is a someone coming in. And it absolutely transforms your world. It's like you become so energized. I mean, it feels like that miracle. You become so energized because people just, the people or the person just wants to lift you, to be there for you. It's like you are buoyant with the wing, the angel wing. Or indeed, if you saw it as a bird wing, it's like you really can soar. This is somebody who wants to see you soar, wants to see you flourish, accepts you, loves you. This is really magnificent. Let's draw some more cards to see if we can get any more information about this. Maybe, you know, we've got a portal of time here, portal of energy, an extraordinary month of energetics, really. So may we ask for information as to either how this emerges or if we can get any guidance on when it happens. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so we have the Four of Discs, we have the Three of Discs, we have the Nine and the Chariot. Okay. Right. Now, I think as this emerges, right, so the Four is quite a steady energy. The Three is an absolute celebration. And the Nine, of course, the Nine of Cups is so emotionally fulfilling. I think timing-wise, I kind of want to say, keep going as you are. I get a really strong energy from this card about just, you know, keep going. Don't, if you are looking, like for example, if you are single, for example, and you are looking for love and you really, really want somebody who will accept you for who you are, keep going with the Four of Discs. Don't give up. Just be steady and just continue doing what you're doing, living your life, being you. Because then this will come. I think the point will come here where it just kind of happens. The Three is a turning point. So there'll be an opening, a doorway, an opportunity. So the key here really at the moment is to really consistently continue, persevere. Don't stop. Or don't stop, don't give up. once this happens, I think it's going to flow really fast. I think it's going to feel so, and this is going to change your energy, as it does when you meet someone who has your back. So whether this is a business partnership, colleagues, the right group of people, whoever it is, who come forward, an existing partner who just suddenly, out of the blue, kind of says something, and you think, well, where did that come from? And suddenly, you know, they've really, their consciousness has opened, and therefore they are really, really wanting to support you, putting their money where their mouth is, kind of thing. I honestly think you are going to be so lifted by this. And I think you're going to start moving into a period of, kind of almost want to say productivity here as well. I think this comes, again, because of, you know, of the support that you have. So it's like you get, you're energized, and then success comes to you because you feel so supported, and so it's like your energy is primed. I think this is really turbocharged manifestation, because I think when you are sitting in a place where you really feel loved and appreciated and supported and understood and seen, it kind of moves things forwards. It's like the energy of the universe is really working with you and moving things forward quite fast. Let's get some more cards and have a sneaky peek into the future as to where this is going. What's the outcome of this? Okay, so we have the 7 of flamingos. So this is the 7 of swords in a traditional pack. We then have the Knight of Peppermills. We then have the 8 of, it's the 8 of Cups, 8 of Hats. Wheel of Fortune showing up again. This is like your story unfolding, I feel. I think at the moment there is like indecision around you, around whether this is really possible, actually. And I think when something shows up, but it is, I also feel you'll get a kind of a confirmation, actually. I'm going to ask for a bit more information around this 7 of Swords, actually. Yeah, this is where I see somebody coming in, someone stepping up for you with the Knight of Peppermills. Literally becoming that knight or knightess in shining armour. And it frees you to move forwards. The wheel turns. May we ask about the 7 of Swords, please? A bit more information about this. We have the High Priestess. Okay, so this is telling us that something is really being guided here. I think there's divine timing at work here. Yeah, then we have the Knight of Hats coming in. I think there's divine timing involved here. So if this doesn't appear to be happening, keep going. This will apply to some but not all. But I think if you're really feeling like something isn't moving forwards, it will do. But there is some kind of divine timing. I think because it involves either some other people or for many of you, it is another person, like a specific other person. And because that specific person's circumstances are involved here, you know, we only have conscious free will and choice over our own lives. We don't have conscious free will and choice over anyone else's. And I think that you sort of have to wait for this person, either the circumstances, if you haven't met them yet, either the circumstances in their life need to be such that they are in the right place at the right time to come to meet with you, you know, for that to be orchestrated. Also, you may have to wait for them to be ready to make this commitment to you. It feels as though it will be guided, but, you know, if you meet someone new, then take it very steady, because I think they'll make the commitment actually quite quickly. But there's still a process to go through where there's some, getting to know one another kind of thing. It feels very guided and very appropriate. Very healthy, very passionate. But the point where everything moves forwards, although it may come quite soon, it's just at the very beginning of this. If you're with a partner and you're longing for them to sort of move something forwards, or to get you really, or to, you know, to take your relationship to the next level, or indeed to reinitiate something if it's got a bit stale or a bit stagnant, wait, because it needs to come from them. You can't push this. It needs to come from them. The offer needs to come from them. They need to be ready. So there's a bigger picture here. That's what I'm seeing, because this involves other people or another person. So this isn't just about your world, and it's about somebody else's circumstances, their state of mind, and what they're doing and what they're up to as well. Just wait for them to make the offer to you. You don't need to kind of, I don't know, like let's say if this is an existing relationship, you don't need to try and get this person to sort of wake up and support you, or try and get them to really step up. I think that they'll reach a point where they do it of their own free will, and that's going to be the turning point. It will feel like a miracle if this has been someone who's really dragged their feet, or they never seem to really embrace kind of consciousness, or the way that you think about something, or your gifts even. Suddenly they kind of, it's like they wake up to it and they're like, actually what you're doing is amazing, you know. Something opens here. So even if you didn't think they were going to come through for you, they kind of do. So I think, yeah, just let this unfold, and let them, they need to come forward and make the commitment, and let you know that they've got your back, as it were, and let you know that they believe in you. They need to do that of their own free will and of their own conscious choice and in their own time. But I don't think it will take long. But this is not something you can push. It would be like meeting somebody and thinking, do you know, I really think this person, you know, if this is a new person, this person could be the one. And then trying to sort of push it, to test the waters, to see how they feel. Let them tell you how they feel when they're ready. Let them discover you, and let them then tell you how they feel. Don't be pushing for that information, because it's got to be their choice. That's what I'm saying here. But it does feel that this is very guided, and this will move forwards pretty quickly. That's what we're seeing here, to be honest. And it's such a renewal. It's such an opening. It's such a celebration of you. That's really the best thing, the best way to describe this, I think. I love the energy of this. It feels kind of exciting, almost ecstatic, and kind of adorable, all in one package. So beautiful, beautiful souls, thank you for being here. I am sending you the biggest hugs. Keep us posted in the comments. It's wonderful to hear when things emerge and open. This is the portal of energy that is around you right now. Thank you so much if you are returning. Thank you if you're new. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Don't forget to press the little bell icon if you want to make sure you never miss a reading. And do please subscribe if you feel able to, because it really does help the channel. So I'm so grateful to all of you who do. Beautiful souls, if you're on my email list and you're watching this as I'm uploading it, I will be updating you within the next few days with very exciting news about my tarot course. I have been waiting for this to emerge, and there's been all kinds of fascinating, it's had a whole journey of its own. And if you're on Patreon and in the membership area, I'll be updating you there as well. Beautiful souls, if that's something you might be interested in, make sure you are on my email list and I'll update from there. Tons and tons of love, and I look forward to seeing you again for some other readings really soon.